So, hi everyone, welcome back to the show. This is where chiropractors learn simple ways to grow profit, get clear with their numbers, and run a healthier, less stressful practice. I am your host, Patra Francis, and today we have someone very special joining us, Dr. Mark Sanna.
Petra, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. Oh, thank you. I'd be happy to. So I'm a chiropractor, actually second generation chiropractor. My father was also a chiropractor, and we hired a wonderful management company to manage our practice. They did a great job, and I bought the company in 1998 and took it from the Northeast of the United States to national and international now. And so we help chiropractors and multidisciplinary practices, just as you said, be profitable, reduce stress, and have more fun in practice.
Yeah, it's all about freedom, right?
Right
Do
on.
what you love. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, and thank you so much for sharing that. I love it. And now let's dive into some things that I know many of my listeners really want to hear, which is the topic about profit.
Yes.
So I will start it with the question every chiropractor asks me: How can they increase profit without seeing more patients?
That's a great question. And it's also one that many chiropractors don't think about profit, right? They don't know how much it costs them to deliver a chiropractic adjustment. They just look to see what money's left in the bank at the end of the month. And so actually knowing what your profit is essential. Many chiropractors don't run a profit and loss statement. Very simple QuickBooks report that you should be looking at every single month. And it could be with some of the insurance carriers that are out there, you're actually getting paid less than it cost you to deliver that adjustment. It's almost like every time those patients come in, you give them an adjustment and a $5 or $10 bill on the way out. And that's not a great way to run a practice. So number one, learn what your cost to deliver an adjustment is. We're coming up on year's end. You're going to be preparing your tax return. You know what your expenses are. Divide that by the number of office visits that you saw this year, and you're going to get the number that is your cost per office visit. So that's number one. Number two, we can plan for sure that insurance reimbursement is not going to be increasing, but it's going to continue to be decreasing and more challenging. And that means we must learn how to ask for cash for valuable services that our patients want and will pay for out of their discretionary income. And you'll be surprised, Petra, even a small add-on service, $10 or $15 over a year's time can make a significant difference in the profitability of a practice. So if you thought about all the office visits that you had last year, increase that by $10, $15, you can make a tremendous difference without a really big upset in terms of the patient. So look at your cost per visit. Look at what we can do that adds on value, small incremental value. And don't forget to check your fees, right? Fees change each year. Wish they changed more each year. Petra, many times I speak with docs, they haven't updated their fees in 5 or even more years than that. And so a small little incremental $1, $2, $3 per service over a year can dramatically impact your profitability. Sure. Yes, for sure. Otherwise, that comes off your profitability right off the top. Yes. Having KPIs are really important. Having the right KPIs are important. Cost per visit, for sure. We look at patient visit average as well. So this is an important thing. Patient visit average is going to let you know the average number of times a patient comes in. Tells you everything about retention, your ability to retain patients beyond pain relief. We know chiropractic does a great job with pain relief, but it also makes functional changes with a patient, global health changes with the patient after the pain goes away. And so when we look at a patient visit average, it's total number of office visits seen divided by new patients during that same period of time. That's going to give you an average number of visits that the new patient stays with you. And you can look at that PVA number and very much tell the philosophy of the practice. So a PVA of 12 or less means a patient stays 12 times. That means your criteria for care, why a patient stays with you for care, it's probably pain relief. 12 to 25 means you're making functional changes, postural correction, movement disorders, and muscle dysfunction, tight muscles. I like to say, bones don't move bones, muscles move bones. And so making sure the muscles are balanced properly, that's 12 to 25. Above 25, we're getting into wellness care. We discharge patients from insurance coverage and they pay for wellness care. And a really well-run practice is going to have its PVA up into the 30s at least. And that lets you know that you're doing a really good job with educating patients about overall total being health and not just pain relief, which is pain is the first thing to go away and the last thing to come. Or so we want to make sure that we're looking at that globally. So PVA, cost per visit. And then if you have multiple doctors or associates in the office, you want to look at OVA. What is the average billing per visit? And that's an important number to track. It lets you know that there's consistency in case management between providers. So if one provider is recommending a chiropractic adjustment and maybe a therapeutic exercise and a stretch, and the other is only doing the chiropractic adjustment, that's going to show up in their billings or their cost or their average office visit value. That's a big deal. And finally is collections. How are we doing on collections? What percentage of our fees are we actually collecting? Many practices with heavy managed care, it's below 50%. That's terrible. That means you're giving away half of the care that you're delivering. That's not a good number to have. So we really like to see in a practice that is doing insurance-based, somewhere 65, 70 percent collections. Certainly if you're doing a all cash practice, you want to be a lot closer to 85, 90 percent collections as well. So those are some great KPIs to keep an eye on. Yes, very much. And I would say most chiropractors will tell you they want more new patients. It's much easier to retain a patient and have that patient refer than it is to go out and get a Google pay-per-click patient and convert them or all of the other ways that patients can come into the office. So retention is key. Correct. It can cause people spend thousands of dollars a month on a Google pay-per-click ads, and maybe you're going to get some good leads through there, but you're also going to get a lot of people who are in there kicking tires and just shopping around. And I'd much rather have a referral-based practice. Yes, very, very much so. And this is one of the great things about having a coach because they can actually work with you on the things that you need to do to make sure that a patient stays. Most patients, Petra, don't leave a practice because of money, because of financial reasons. They leave because they don't know where they are in the care plan. So we know as chiropractors very much, here's what we expect, here's what's in store, here's what's coming next. But we can't assume that patients know that. So making sure that we're doing reevaluations, and at reevaluations, that's an opportunity to reorient the patient, let them know how they're doing with their goals, set new goals for care, and cheerlead them. You are the doctor, yes, but you're also a coach and you're also a bit of a cheerleader. So when they make a milestone, when the pain goes away, celebrate that. Say, great, I'm so happy you're out of pain because when the pain goes, the healing begins, right? That means we can really do the work that is going to be important for your long-term health. So communicating with patients is a very, very important skill, and we work a lot with our clients on that.
Yeah, I mean, the encouragement part is very important, right? It's not just working in the kid, in just children. It also work with adults too. We need to know,
Yes.
understand.
Everybody likes to celebrate and everybody likes to be encouraged. And don't forget to do that. That's part of your job. They don't have a lot of patience. They don't have a lot of money, but you know what they have? Time. And so you're going to use your time wisely. And if you're just building a practice, the most important thing is to build relationships, right? You are not going to build your practice by having lunch at your desk. You're not going to build your practice by being online and just working online. You have to get out there and you have to meet people. And so you want to think about your list and building your contact list as your most important in a new practice, really in any new startup business. Building that list of contacts is essential. So when you go out and meet people, yeah, it's great that you give them your card. It's more important you get their card and their contact information so you can put them on your mailing list, your email list, your text list, so that you can be in control of that relationship. It's really essential. It's funny, when I first started in practice, it was very, very common, not so much now, but you would go out and survey homes in the neighborhood. And you'd go out, you'd knock on door. Hey, I'm Dr. Sanna. I'm new to the neighborhood. Like to know if this is a good place to open up a chiropractic practice. What are the good grocery stores? What's the best dry cleaner? What can you tell me about the town? And people would invite you in and give you iced tea. But it was really wonderful. A little bit different time. I'm not sure I would so much knock on people's doors today, but getting out there, getting involved with groups, getting involved with networking groups, follow your passion. If you're into running, join a running club. If you're into pediatric care, make sure that you're going to the groups where new mothers hang out, right? Those are super, super important things. You don't have to be everything to everyone, but follow your passion, what you're good at, what you're great at. Go out and meet those people. Meet those people who can be influencers and send people to you, right? In a business, it's super important in your relationships. Complete. Correct. Yes. 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 Great. Absolutely. Very true.
I love that advice. Thank you, Dr.
You're
Sana.
welcome.
So with a new chiropractors, we seem to be talking about new chiropractor right now. And
Sure.
what do you suggest for them the way they structure their business? Would you suggest, because many mistake that I found, and the more I talk to other chiropractors, many accountants would tell them like, hey, go open an S corporation, which is may not be the right way to start right.
Yes. Yeah. So a couple of things. First and foremost, stay lean, meaning I hear from a lot of docs coming out, gee, I'm going to take 1,500 square feet and I'm going to get all of this kind of equipment and toys and shockwave and laser and all of this kind of stuff and 2 CAs. And in the beginning, it's going to be you and the phone and the voice mail and until you can begin to pay those bills. So think about a small, lean space. You can get very, very well-trained virtual assistants now, literally for $10, and they can do a lot of the things that you may not have the time to do if you're all by yourself. Insurance verification, patient scheduling, patient cancellation calls, patient reminder calls, reactivation calls, all of those things that need to be done. You can think about having a virtual assistant for that. But keep that overhead low, keep it lean. In terms of corporate structure as well, you want to have the right structure for your state. Each state is a little bit different, and moving from sole proprietorship into a LLC limited liability or PLLC professional limited liability or S corp, those are great things to do with the advice of a great accountant, right? So you know when you're ready and you know when you do it properly. Last bit of advice is keep clean books from day one. Don't mix personal and, oh my goodness, personal and business finances together. If you've never run a business before, it's very confusing of what should I put in the business? What should I not put in the business? You want to make sure that you're really reflecting what's correct in that business and that you're not putting things through that you should not be putting through into that business. If you do that from the beginning, as your business grows, it's going to be so much better for you and easier for you to run that business profitably and also legally as well.
Yeah, that's very good advice, Dr. Sana. Many of our chiropractor who just we all go to college. They go to college and they learn about how to adjust patient. But most of the time when they are in school, they don't teach them on how to run business,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
correct.
that's why your firm come in, and I was teaching people, teaching business owner like chiropractic practices, not to make the
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Sure. I've seen mistakes and I've also seen things that are done really right. And one of the things, if you're a young doc just getting started, do not underestimate the power of compounding interest and just putting aside a small amount every month, the most that you can. If you put it aside, if you had an extra $1,000 a month that you put into an investment account, mutual fund, even nothing crazy, right? Nothing super risky. And that compounded year after year for 20, 30 years, you'll never have to worry about retiring. You'll always have that nest egg that's there. And I recommend to our clients dollar cost averaging. No matter what, you put the same amount, get up or mark it down, goes into that investment account. And over time, the market does outperform everything in terms of investments over time. And with your compounding interest, you can be in a great position in your career where you're not working for money. You're not worried about money. You're working for the love and the joy of it. And that's a really great goal to have, a great place to work towards.
Yeah, we need to keep. I love that you are touching base on putting money aside and contribute for your to yourself for your retirement, because times go by so fast that just a blink of your eyes, we already in the end of 2025.
Amazing.
I couldn't believe it. That's why you have to do anything intentionally.
Correct.
It's not just, you have to think about the big picture. We have to think about the end goal. Where do you want to go? Where you want to get there? And I'm sure that your team probably help you, your chiropractic practices on that too.
Absolutely. Yes, it is true because in the beginning, we are so focused on making the best practice that we can make and being the best chiropractor that we can be. And that's really important. But we can't forget we are in business. And it's my dad, who is also a chiropractor, used to say, he said, Mark, he said, remember, you're in the business of healing. And he'd say, but know that without the business, you don't get the opportunity to do the healing, right? So important to know that we look at this. Yes, it is a great vocation being a chiropractor, but it's also your profession.
Yeah, because the mission of the business is to create profit.
Yes,
If you don't have profit, you're gonna burn out. You're not gonna have energy to go to work, and if you are not healthy, your business is not healthy. You cannot even provide anything back to the community either.
absolutely. Very, very true.
Yeah, and so now my next question is, can a chiropractor tell, when it comes to, because it is like we are running a business, right? When we just starting out, we are the one who's doing everything, wearing different hat, treating patient. Maybe we have an admin person, but when you started to grow, have more patient coming in, you're not gonna be the only doctor in the practice. So my next question is, how can
Yeah, that's also a great question. And each chiropractor is going to have a little bit of a different answer to that. And it is, what do you feel that you can comfortably do in a week, in a day, the number of office visits that you can physically see? You know, Patrick, this is a physical business, chiropractic, and you only have so many adjustments in these hands. You want to make sure each one counts, right? And so taking a look at, I feel that for a chiropractor, seeing 50 visits in a day, physical work, that's a good day. You go home 50 visits, and there's many chiropractors who see 80 and 100 a day, but 50 is a good number. And you go home and you feel it. And so when you start maxing out your capacity, when you start having to have a waiting list for new patients, right? Somebody can't get in today, they can only get in tomorrow or the next day. Chances are they're going to go see somebody else. So when you begin to feel the pressure of being able to have adequate new patient reported findings times and enough time on your schedule where you can do all of the things you need to do, patient care plus practice building, you're going to reach a point where, yes, it is time to bring in a chiropractor as an associate. And it's very interesting now, Petra, because right now, for every chiropractor who graduates chiropractic school, there are 4 jobs out there waiting for you. And so if you're hiring an associate, know that that market out there is very tight in terms of the availability of these doctors. So finding the right match between the owner doctor and the associate doctor is really essential. You don't want to fumble that relationship. So really get to know each other as people, get to know each other in terms of your techniques, in terms of your philosophy of care. Chances are, if you are a more seasoned practitioner communicating in electronic media with AI and social channels, and probably that's not your strong suit, but the younger generations, they know this inside out and backwards and can really help you and support you with that. So it becomes kind of like Batman and Robin or Wonder Woman and whoever her Robin would be. But working together in that type of a tandem environment is great for both parties. And eventually, if you're the owner doc, you have to think about exiting that practice. You're not going to be owning that. You could work in it, but you don't have to own it forever. So earlier on, you can make that plan. Don't wait until you're 2 years before you want to be done and say, okay, now I need to sell this thing and try and get value for it. Really good succession plan in your practice, a good strategy for bringing in an associate and having them buy into that practice over time. That's a great exit strategy for you. And it's a great step for the new practitioner to come in and become a practice owner as well.
This is a very powerful answer, Dr. Sanna. This is also benefit for like new chiropractor too. Before they are going to work for a practice, they need to really look at the person who they're going to work for. Is this chiropractor is going to be a good coach for them, because they are also looking for a good mentor, right? So
Yes.
yeah, their plan is to own a practice.
Very much so. You want to have an associate relationship where you're learning all aspects of the practice, not just adjusting patients, because there are some associate positions where you'll go in and all you do is adjust, 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 and you're not learning how to run that business, right? So it's not teeing you up for future success. It's just giving you skills in terms of your technique as a chiropractor. And that can be good for a short period of time. But in the long run, you want to know every position in that practice, how the back office works, how billing and coding and documentation and follow-up and accounts receivable management work. You want to know about human resources. How do I hire the right people? How do I manage them so that they give us their best and retain them in their position, right? Making sure that from a standpoint of building a practice culture, it's really something that you're learning. You don't get that again in a chiropractic school. And then again, how to market that practice and how to grow that practice. So when I'm looking for an associate position, I really want to have somebody who's going to tee me up for future success. And then I'm going to be all in. So just a quick word to the associates. If you want to be an owner of a practice, you have to show up as the owner even before you're the owner. And what do I mean by that? I mean, the owner gets there first. The owner doesn't get there 10 minutes before the first new patient, or worse, 10 minutes after the first patient is sitting in the reception. The owner is there first. And guess what? The owner is there last as well. Taking that from the standpoint of ownership, that I know that I'm going to be friendly with my staff, but I can't be their pal. I can't be their buddies, right? And so my first name's Mark, so in my practice, I wouldn't have my staff call me Mark, certainly not in front of patients. I would be Dr. Mark, right? I'm Dr. Mark because my dad was Dr. Sanna. So we didn't have two Dr. Sannas. We had Dr. Sanna and Dr. Mark. So knowing that that level of respect is there, you cannot lead people from the same level. You have to be just a little bit higher. And I don't mean in a weird way or uncomfortable way, but they need to have direction. They need to be able to look to you for leadership. And as the associate, you are on the leadership team. And so you want to act like that. And so behaving appropriately, not palling around, making sure that you're not looking on your phone and texting friends and looking at whatever TikTok, whatever example you're setting, the staff is going to feed off of that from you. So if you want to be an owner, show up as an owner from day one.
That's powerful. You have to show up. Whatever you show up, the way you show up is the way people are going to follow you too. So that's a part of being a good leadership. So one thing that came up in my Dr. Mark, I'm going to call you Dr. Mark because
Great.
Dr. Sanna is your dad.
Yes.
Dr. Mark. So, what is the like profit margin are we looking at? I know that in different stage, gross revenue, we're gonna have a different type of.
Yes, for sure. So we look for, and when practices are valued, they're typically valued, and people wonder what is their practice worth, right? And we look at an accounting term called EBITDA. And EBITDA is earnings before taxes, depreciation, amortization, EBITDA. And that means profit. It's what's left. And a good, healthy business runs 20% profit. And that's a safe margin.
Oh, 20%, is it before, after owner pays their salary?
It would be after the owner pays their salary, but you can adjust the salary. If the owner is taking more than what it would cost to replace them, you can adjust that so that it has added back what would be the proper salary. But I like to say this, if you still want to be paid that is what your profit is, unless you want to take less. And so 20% minimum acceptable, 25% you're in a really healthy business, 30% you're in great shape. So when we look at practices, I want to see anywhere between 20 and 30% profit left after all of the expenses are paid. So that could be across as many doctors as you have there. Multidisciplinary practice, it may be a little bit less because you have higher professional salaries, nurse practitioner, a physician assistant, etc. But in a chiropractic solo practice, yeah, we really like to see those numbers of profit. If you're not, then we have to take a look at each and every expense, and you do that not at the end of the year. You do it on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, looking for changes in the expense categories and making sure that you're hitting the benchmarks that are there and not taking too much in some of the other areas. This is where tax planning is super important, Petra, as you know. Some docs will put a lot through on a salary and end up maybe paying too much because you're having to do payroll and et cetera on that, rather than taking it as a draw or disbursement. So making sure that you're not overinflating your salary, and there are good formula to know what you should be paying yourself, but being aware of those tax strategies are key.
Yes. And when we talk about payroll, what we do in our firm, usually we run a survey. It's called Reasonable Com Survey.
There you
This
go.
is going to help them determine what is a good, reasonable salary.
Yes.
Because you don't, just like Dr. Mark said, that you don't want to pay yourself too much because otherwise you're going to get hit with the payroll taxes, which is about, 15.3%
Yeah.
as an employer and employee. And then there is like maybe 2.7% from the insurance, unemployment insurance from the state, right? So everything the cost is add up. But one thing that's important too, you don't want to pay yourself too little either because you
Yes.
could get challenged by the IRS. So you have to be careful with that. So make sure that your accountant run a reasonable comp survey for you, because it helps with an audit protection. But some accountant may tell you like, just pay 10%, 20% of whatever. That's not true. Or like
Right.
5% out of your net income, because the IS may, if you pay yourself like 50,000, they may challenge you and say that, do you think you can hire another chiropractor for 50,000?
That's
So
right.
they think that it's not reasonable. So just want to put it out there.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. Every chiropractor should do that.
All right, thank you, Dr. Mark. So before we wrap up, I would love to hear your take on this. If you could give chiropractor one focus for this coming year, what would it be? Since we almost like 2026.
Yeah. So this, we often hear people say that this is a great time to be a chiropractor. I think there's never been a better time to be a chiropractor. And we are seeing a true shift now in people not accepting any more sick care and the broken model of sick care, but they're interested in real health care. And so this is why you're seeing such a large interest in the type of care that chiropractors provide. This is a amazing opportunity for us because the opioid crisis essentially shut down the ability for the medical profession to treat what we treat best: backs and necks and headaches and aches and joints. They used to give a bottle of Oxycontin like that big, 90 tablets for people with back pain. Now they could maybe give 3, right? Pills. That's it. So they don't want to deal with it. We can deal with it really, really well. The other thing is there's never been more alignment with the leadership of our profession. We have great people who have been in leadership positions for many, many years that are now really working and focusing in on the 2 main issues for chiropractic, and that's patient access, new patients being able to come in and see us, and fair reimbursement, right? That we are reimbursed at least as well as our other peers are being reimbursed. And so there's a lot of energy and effort that is out there that is helping with chiropractic. So my number one, if I had a theme for you for the year ahead, it would be connection. Are going to be challenged if you're only in the 4 walls of your office and you don't get out and connect with your peers. Number one, we're stronger together than we are independently. And when we come together, there's nothing that we cannot achieve as chiropractors and as a profession. So number one, reach out to your state association, get involved. I know maybe in the past it didn't seem like something that was important. It's vitally important, especially for the young folks. We need you. We need your energy. We need your vitality. And we want to share our knowledge and wisdom with you as well. Secondly, get out and connect with your patients, right? The worst impact of COVID on our country was isolation and being kept apart from each other and not being able to be together, and getting out, meeting people, giving workshops, just being a part of your community so that when you go into the grocery store on a Saturday morning, people know you. They say, "Hi, Doc, how are you?" And so my advice to you would be to focus on, where can I make a new relationship this week, this month? How can I foster the relationships that I have? How can I make deeper, stronger relationships that I have in place with my peers, with my community, and with the folks who can help me really create the type of practice that I dream of and that I envision? Because you can't do it alone, right? It's only together, when we come together, that we can achieve great things. Yes.
Who wants to grow their practice? And Dr. Sanna, thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Petra.
Yes.